Hey guys, welcome back here to Advanced Bass Fishing, and appreciate you guys coming by the channel today to check the video out. And guys, today at the time of filming this video, June starts next week, and I want to show you guys one of my favorite baits to fish in the month of June. Talk a little bit about it, and that's the Wobblehead jig here. Just the old, this is the biffle head, hard head, Wobblehead jig. Guys, this is freaking deadly in the month of June. So I'm going to give you guys a few tips and advice on how I like to fish it and how I like to set it up and everything in today's video. And also, guys, real quick, there's only like 2 or 3 days left of the big Memorial Day sale Tackle Warehouse has on their site. Guys, site-wide, they got a bunch of good sales. I'll have my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of this video. If you guys would like to use and bookmark my Tackle Warehouse link for your tackle purchases, much appreciated for me and my family. Channel gets credit for anything you guys buy off my link. So really appreciate that. And thank you guys again for everybody that's taken time to subscribe to Advanced Bass Fishing and like the videos and hype the videos. Really appreciate that. Okay, this has rapidly became one of my favorite baits over the past 10 years or so, guys, is the Wobblehead jig. Tommy Biffle made this thing famous years ago, won some tournaments on it. And it's basically very similar to a football head jig, except it's set up a little bit different. The presentation and the action of a wobblehead is similar to a football head jig, but at the same time, it's a lot different than a football head jig. And I'll tell you right off the bat, guys, I catch a lot more fish. I gotta get my camera set back up here. I catch a lot more bass on a wobblehead than I do a football head jig for whatever reason. This thing is a fish catching bait. It doesn't look that great. I mean, for whatever reason, but guys, you can't believe how good this thing works this time of year. Now, if you're not familiar with it, what it is, it's got a football head that's on a swivel here. So it moves around a little bit. So your bait swivels a little bit when it's on the bottom. So it's not just stationary like a football head jig. And I guess that's what makes it appealing. So the setup that I like to use with it is usually a 5/16 or 7/16 ounce head. And this is by far my favorite trailer for it, guys. This is the Zoom Z-Craw Junior. I use this probably 95% of the time. Fish catching bait, green pumpkin, watermelon candy, just something natural. But that's the setup that I use with it. And I usually fish it on 15-pound test Seaguar and VizX line and some type of a 7-foot medium heavy bait cast outfit. Okay, here's what you want to look for on the Wobblehead jig. The reason it works so good in the month of June and in May a little bit too is it's one of the best post-spawn lures that you can fish when these fish are in those post-spawn locations, specifically in June. So this is what you want to do with it. Very simple to fish. It's like the easiest way that I can tell you guys to catch them is on the lake that you fish, try to determine where you think the fish have been spawning at. Some of your best spawning coves, excuse me, some of your best spawning bays, just wherever you think the fish were spawning. And then come out of that area and scout the area within like a quarter mile of there and identify all of like the secondary and main lake points that are close proximity to those spawning areas. Because what happens is those bass will spawn like in April, March, April, first part of May in these spawning coves, and then they start to filter out into the lake. And the first place they filter to, for the most part on a man-made lake, are those secondary and main lake points. They like to swim out there on those points, and they'll hang out there on those points a lot during the month of June, and they'll get down in anywhere between 5 to 30 foot of water, depending upon your water clarity. And then as the summer gets along, like in July and August, where the thermocline starts forming, those fish will move out off of those points a little bit, and they'll either get shallower on the points, or they'll start suspending out on the points, or they'll start dispersing and suspending out in the open water in the lake. That's where a lot of guys catch them on the live scope. So June is the month to intersect them on these main lake and secondary points. Water visibility on this technique, it works in a wide range of water visibilities. I've caught bass on the Wobblehead in anywhere between a foot of visibility and 10 foot of clarity and everything in between. So it's very diverse in the water clarity. The depth that I'm fishing is related to the water visibility. If I'm fishing like 1 to 3 foot of visibility, I'm trying to concentrate on that 3 to 6 foot zone. And as that water clarity gets a little bit, cleaner, then I'll move out a little bit into 4, 5, 6, 10, however it is. Say, for example, if it's real clear, like the water visibility is over 6 or 8 foot in clarity, I may be fishing 20 or 30 foot deep. It's all relative to that. And the cool thing about this is one of the easiest baits for somebody that doesn't fish very much to fish, because let me show you what to do with it. It's so easy to do it. Just make your cast out there with the wobblehead, put your rod tip low to the water, and just slowly crank it in like that. That's all you have to do. You don't have to put any action on it. You don't have to put any half turns or stop and go retrieve. Slow crank it like that. And the speed that you want to crank it is slow or as fast as you can to maintain bottom contact. Now, a lot of times this is very slow. Let's say, for example, you cast out in 10 to 15, 20 foot of water. You're going to have to reel extremely slow. Sometimes you're going to have to stop it, because when you reel a little bit and it's coming down an angle, sometimes the bait will lift off the bottom, and you do not want a wobblehead to lift off the bottom. You want this thing to be on the bottom all the time, sort of stirring up a little bit of sediment, little dirt puffs on the bottom. You don't ever want this thing off the bottom. So if you're cranking it slow like that and you lose contact with the bottom, just stop cranking, let it hit to the bottom, keep your rod tip low, and then start cranking again like that. Now, if you're fishing on some type of a slope, you're gonna have to do this quite often. You're gonna have to, it's not a stop and go, you just have to stop cranking. You're not doing the stop and go retrieve for action on the bait. You're simply stopping the bait to keep it on the bottom. This is critical, guys. If there's one piece of advice I can give you with the wobblehead, you gotta fish it slow and you gotta fish it on the bottom. Now, if you're fishing shallow or flatter stuff, let's say, for example, you're in dirtier water and you're casting up there and you're casting in 3 to 4 foot of water, yeah, you can probably reel it just a little bit faster, because then you can still maintain contact. The flatter the bank and the flatter the angle, the faster you can reel it, and then you're gonna have to slow it as the drop goes down. And normally what happens is, like, you'll make your cast out there, you're reeling it like that, and you don't really feel anything most of the time. When you're reeling it, all of a sudden it'll just get heavy, and that's normally when the fish is on it. Sometimes you'll see a little tick in your line like that, but most of the time you're reeling it, and it feels like maybe, what the best way to describe it is, it feels like you've lost contact with the bottom and the bait has been lifted up a little bit and you feel a little weight on there. That means a fish has came up, wobbling around the bottom like that. A fish has come up from the bottom and it's inhaled that bait, sucks it up off the bottom, and that's when you feel the resistance and you lose contact with the bottom, and then you set the hook with it. But guys, this is one of my funnest baits to fish. I mean, you wouldn't think that a bait like this would be that fun, but guys, I love the way it feels to get a bite on a wobblehead. I mean, there's something about the thing that's completely unique. It's different than a football head jig, because a football head jig, a lot of times you'll throw it out there, you'll keep your rod tip to the side, and you'll reel it and you're dragging it like that. And you'll take up the slack a little bit and you're dragging it. So the bite's completely different from just a straight reel. It's basically what it is. I sort of equate it to fishing a crankbait really slow. Some of the best wobblehead fishermen I know, they basically fish the wobblehead just like a crankbait. And also, I've been in the boat with guys that just go down the bank with it. I'm talking about fishing the points, the secondary main lake points, but I've fished with guys that have just thrown it on the same type of banks that you throw a crankbait. It's like if it looks like a good crankbait bait for square bill crankbait or whatever, they'll throw the wobblehead and just fish it like a crankbait down the same bank. So it's really just up to your imagination with that. But June is the best month. It's absolutely the best month. It starts to fade away a little bit, like in July and August, and actually a football head jig will start producing more in July and August. But for the month of June, guys, it's one of the best baits that you're gonna fish to catch both numbers and size of fish. This is a numbers bait. It's like a little Z-Craw Junior on there. I've had a lot, I'm talking about a lot of 30 plus fish days on it this time of year. Very common to have that, especially if you have a lake that has a decent population of fish. So anyway, guys, give it a try, man. It's like, easy to fish it. It's very simple to fish. There's nothing more simple than getting on a point and just throwing something to the bottom and reeling it in. It doesn't get any simpler than that, and it catches them. So hope it helps you guys do good. We'll talk later.